last 8 weeks have been anything but silent nights on Long Island, New York, and New Jersey. Hurricane-damaged homes, combined with the recent horror of the Sandy Hook Elementary School, have left many wondering what joy there may be this Christmas time. Is it really possible to have a silent night in the midst of such tragedy? We wonder. We ponder. We hope. Nearly 200 years ago, Father Joseph Moore was wondering the same thing. He sat at the old organ of his church, his fingers stretched over the keys, forming notes of a chord. He took a deep breath in, pressed down, nothing. He lifted his fingers and tried again, and silence echoed throughout the church. Father Joseph shook his head. It was no use. The pipes were rusted, the bellows mildewed. Some even ventured to say that it was the mice who got their way into the pipes to destroy it. The organ had been wheezing and growing quieter for months. And Father Joseph had been hoping and praying that it would hold together until the organ repairman could get there in the spring. But now, on December 23rd, 1818, the organ had finally given out at St. Nicholas Church, and there would be no music for Christmas. Father Joseph sighed. Maybe a brisk walk would help him feel better. He pulled on his overcoat and stepped out into the night. His white breath puffed out before him. Moonlight sparkled off the snow-crusted trees and houses in the village of Oberdorf. Father Joseph crunched through the snowy streets to the edge of the little Austrian town and climbed the path leading up the mountain. From high above Oberdorf, Father Joseph watched the river ripple past St. Nicholas Church. In the spring, when melting snow flowed down the mountains and the river swelled in the banks, water would lap on the church's foundation. It was that moisture from the flooding river that caused the organ to mildew and rust. Father Joseph looked out over the Austrian Alps. Stars shone above in the still and silent night. Silent night. Of course, silent night. He had written a poem a few years before when he had first become a priest, and he had given it the very title, Silent Night. Father Joseph scrambled down the mountain. Suddenly he knew how to bring music into the church. The next morning, Father Joseph set out on another walk. This time he carried with him his poem, and at the same time he knew exactly where he was going to go. To see his friend, Franz Gruber, the organist of St. Nicholas, who lived in the next village. Franz Gruber was surprised to see his friend on that Christmas Eve. even more surprised when he handed him a poem. That night, Father Joseph and Franz Gruber stood at the altar of St. Nicholas Church. Father Joseph held out his guitar. He could see the members of his congregation giving each other puzzled looks. They had never heard a guitar played in church, and certainly not during midnight mass on Christmas Eve, the holiest night of the year. Father Joseph picked out a few notes on the guitar, and he and Franz Gruber began to sing. Their two voices sang out, joined by the church choir on the chorus. Franz Gruber's melody matched the simplicity and honesty of Father Joseph's words. When the last notes faded into the night, the congregation remained still for a moment, and they began to clap their hands. Applause filled the church. The villagers of Oberndorf loved the song. Father Joseph's plan to bring music to St. Nicholas Church had worked. A few months later, the organ builder arrived in Oberndorf, and he found the words and music to Silent Night lying on the organ bench. The song enchanted him, and when he left, he took a copy of it with him. The organ builder gave the song to two families of traveling singers who lived near his home, and the traveling singers performed Silent Night in concerts all over Europe. And soon the song began to spread throughout the world. Today, cathedral choirs and carollers from New York to New Zealand sing the simple song that was first played in the mountain in Austria on a Christmas Eve that one priest thought would never happen. You see, on this holiest of nights, only Jesus' birth can truly give us peace we long for. Only his birth will give us the brighter days we seek. Franz Joseph knew that. It is in the deepest and darkest hours when the gift of the Incarnation, when God pierced through humanity to become Emmanuel, God with us, that we truly will find the silent night we long for. May you and your families find a silent night, a holy night, not just this evening, but every day for the years to come. As Franz Joseph wrote, silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round young virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace.